actual store manager, and both of their lives got really, really busy again all of a sudden.
Well, life's what happens when you're making other plans, isn't it?
That's what they say. That's why I don't make any plans. Figure that keeps me totally safe from that ever happening. Yeah, I'm gonna. There's a, that Saturday morning breakfast cereal webcomic I like. That was a great one. I need to post it to my. Facebook page because I've been extremely annoyed lately. I think I told you I'd gone through. Did I tell you I'd gone through and deleted like about a fourth of my friends because they were just annoying the piss out of me with their posts.
I remember you saying something about it.
Yeah. And this particular comic really kind of goes along with that same general feeling. It's two squares that are sitting there, two actual figures of like a square.
Yeah.
And one of them says, what does one of them say? The privileged few, and the other one says the masses. And the privileged few is saying, we're the ones who drive society. And the masses are going, no, we're the ones who drive society. And the next panel, they're both a little bit smaller, and they're still saying the same, no, I am, no, I am. In the next frame, they're even smaller, and they're going, and you see a shadow coming in from the left, and they're going, no, I am, no, I am. And in the last frame, they're little bitty tiny, and there's this gigantic ball that's labeled random. And he's looking down at the two of them going, I wonder what those two are arguing about.
I don't know how you get the time to go through all these things that you have. I mean, you have all your web comics that you check, and all these different channels that you're on.
Well, the web comics I check, on mostly a daily basis. So, it takes me maybe 15-20 minutes to cycle through all my web comics because there's only about a dozen of them I read.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you keep up with them and read them, it's my version of the newspaper. It used to be I would always read the comics in the newspaper all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I read them every day, and it only, it takes me 15-20 minutes to read all of them because there's only about a dozen. Penny Arcade sometimes takes longer because they'll, along with their comic, they'll have their blog and news section, and I'll sometimes get absorbed into that and click on some of the links, and there went my pick, and click on some of the links and all that they're linking to. But yeah, it doesn't take long. The web channels, yeah, that is a bit of a problem. It does take me a lot longer to read those, and there's a lot that I miss on because it's like you get to the point. It's like, do I want to play? Do I want to work on do I want to play the game? Do I want to work on editing a film of the game, or do I want to watch some other people's stuff?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Because I found that those are three things that are very hard for me to do mutually. It's like you were talking about earlier with the whole mining and watching a video at the same time. I mean, it's possible for me to do it, but it's difficult for me to do it.
Yeah.
Because I find I'm either not focusing on this or I'm not focusing on that enough. And most of the videos that I'm going to devote my attention to and watch, I want to devote my attention to them and watch them,
Yes, yeah.
Because when I do that in the past, yeah, I'd have a vague idea of what went on, but I knew there was stuff in there that I missed, and
yeah, that's probably explains it, because like most of the ones I watch are Let's Plays and everything, where 90% of what they're doing I'm not interested in because I know how to do and I do myself, and I watch them for that odd moment where, oh, I pick up something new, I learn something new, or
yeah. And it's like the stuff that I watch, in the old days it'd be you, or stuff that John Lee puts up or GOG puts up or that, and it's it's the kind of thing. It's like, if you've spent the time to do it, I'm going to do my share of spending the time of actually watching it, not be distracted during the whole thing.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's a valid point. That's very fair. Yeah.
And some of the other ones is like, I'll watch. I don't by any means watch all of Totalbiscuit, but a lot of his stuff, like his content patches, which are just his daily kind of news summary, all he's got going on in the background is whatever random video game he was playing while he was doing it. So there's nothing to watch, so I can turn that on and sit here and mine and just listen to him.
Yes.
But other things, it's like, it's like I watch a good number of the Yogscast. Once again, not by any means everything they put out, but there's a couple of their series that I like to watch. I like to watch their Feed the Beast series. I like to watch their Volt series.
Is Volt something you'd interested in playing?
Volts is interesting, yeah. It looks like just yet another, it's another tech mod.
Yeah. Tends
to be a bit more high tech. But it's definitely also it reminds me a lot of, it reminds me a lot of the way y'all described Feed the Beast with, is it Greg's mod?
Greg Tech, yeah.
Greg Tech. Because there's a lot more, it reminds me a lot of that. There is a lot more steps to go through to get to anything.
Which I don't think is a bad thing, really. I mean, I don't know. I haven't made up my mind about Greg Tech. It's just that sometimes some of it can be purely done to sink your time. I mean, I think, like for instance, Greg Tech changes the recipe for a macerator to require diamonds, which I think's a bit. Well, I don't know. I mean, it does make a lot of sense. You're grinding up stones. You want something that's going to be able to take grinding up stones. But there does come a point where once you're down there getting diamonds, you're quite well into the game anyway.
Could be. And then I've seen some people that's one of the first things they do is they, right after they've made their initial stone pick, the first thing they do with it is to start digging straight down to the diamond layer to grab redstone and diamond.
Oh, well,
as quickly as possible,
Yeah, well, I do that. I do. The first thing, straight down to diamond layer, but still. So what exactly is Vaults itself then? Because I've never actually watched any of it and looked into it. Most of the titles tend to put me off. They always seem to be some sort of, I get the feeling that it's kids derping around destroying everything or something. Is it
I mean, it has a lot to do with that. It's the version that I'm watching is is the Yogscast version, so you get a lot of that. You get a lot of their as you say derping around, which is what they do. But there is a lot of the stuff that you get to see. Along with their derping, that you do get to. It's an entertaining. It's more entertaining to me than watching a tutorial.
Yes.
I get to see what goes on in the thing. Plus, I enjoy the Yogscast guys.
Yeah.
Especially when it's more than just and in these particular ones, it's Simon, it's Lewis, it's Duncan, it's Sips and Shin. And apparently you have a sick cow in your house.
That's my alarms. I've got to go do something. But that's on vibrate, so it doesn't wake the wife up. But you're right. I mean, it does matter. Entertainment, for instance, I watched I don't. You got it there, I suppose. Top Gear, the
Yes,
car show.
Top Gear, yes.
And not because I'm interested in cars at all or know anything about them, but it's the passion and the entertainment value of the presenters. You know, they make it entertaining, they make it funny.
Yeah.
They talk about it with knowledge and passion, which I find is always key. You know, somebody loves what they're doing and they know a lot about it. I like that.
Sure. Yes.
Right, I'll be back in a minute. I just have to go and sort this out. Oh, just a minute. Oh, that's always nice. Go away, come back, see the Gnome staff are still hard at work. It seems to be smelting. I've just got a double drop of ingots there, so it does seem to be smelting the ingots. When it smelts the block, if I get a double drop, it smelts both of them.
Smelts both of them.
It's a pain. Don't tell me I'm full up again. I'm going to go back again. Ooh, 2 veins of ore together, vying together. Oh, nice.
Ooh, very nice. But yeah, it's like Angry. You talking about that? It's like Angry Joe. You know, it's the same kind of thing with him. I find his reviews and stuff. He is so passionate.
Yes.
You know, and all about what he does. It's like I watched his review of Injustice, a game that I have absolutely no interest in whatsoever. You know, I'm not into the superheroes and I'm not into fighting games at all. I was never a Mortal Kombat or
look over this edge,
Street Fighter or anything. But I loved watching his review of it because he is so passionate about it. Wow.
And then if you look around, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
I think after a year of working here, we have lit this place up quite well.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah. Just go and take all this stuff back.
Yeah, and that's something I didn't even think about. I mean, I sit down here and I don't even think about there being any creepers or anything.
Yeah, yeah. It does make a difference when somebody loves what they're doing, and it comes across. It's why, like, you know, for instance, your videos are still entertaining because it really comes across that you're enjoying what you're doing, and you're not doing it for the I want to get lots of subscribers and I'm doing this to please these viewers. You're doing it because it's what you want to do. Yeah,
and it's one reason why sometimes there'll be a week that goes by between my, you know, along with work and everything else, is 4 or 5 days, sometimes a week will go by without me really posting anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to do it just because, I need to get a video up today. You know, I have no urge to do that whatsoever because that's where it becomes a job.
Yes, yeah.
And...
Hi, Frank.
If I'm not in the mood, it's going to come across.
Exactly.
It's going to come across very clearly if I'm not in the mood to do something. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be entertaining. It's kind of what was it? JCSB?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of his late videos before he closed down that channel and opened up his other one, you know, where he was talking about that. He said, you know, I got far too much into the views and working at that, and it had gotten to the point where I wasn't enjoying making the videos anymore, and it was really showing.
Yes. That's it. It got to the point because he went through a phase where all that mattered to him was getting his channel big and getting more viewers. So,
yeah.
Are you coming up? Cool. He was a prime example of that. Yeah. There was a time when he was playing not for his own sake, but for the viewers. Anybody told him to do something, he'd do that. And,
yeah.
You know, I said that to him at one point. I said, you've just got to do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, otherwise there's no point.
And that's one thing where, Totalbiscuit did that. One of his recent content patch things, or actually it wasn't even a content patch. It was one of his recent, just kind of a vlog. And he was sitting there and gave like 20 or 25 minutes on why it's not a bad thing when I say I don't do requests.
Yeah.
And he says, I've gotten a lot of flack from it. A lot of people going, well, we're the ones that support your channel. You should do this, da 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 da. And it's very stuck up and arrogant about it. And he says, I'm not being stuck up and arrogant. I'm being honest. I don't do requests. When I say that, it's like it's on the front of the website. It's on everywhere you go. You see the thing, I don't do requests, and yet people still are constantly giving me requests. And he says after a while you get a little tired of that and go, why can't people read?
Yes. Well, that's another thing, isn't it, with YouTube?
It's like, if you sit here and 10,000, he didn't say that, he said more like, like a dozen people demand 1,000 times for me to do requests, it's not going to make me want to do requests. In fact, it's going to do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
And he said that very much. I have to do what I do. He says, this is what I do and this is what I'm passionate. And if I turn into a do stuff by request channel, he says, I'm going to lose people because it's not going to be what I want to do, and it's going to clearly show in the videos.
Yes. And also, it's a case of, the viewer was attracted to you because they liked what you did.
Exactly.
And yet they're trying to change what you're doing.
Exactly. Much like being married.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the moment, I'm going through the box set of Sex and the City. I guess she's watching that, so we're watching it together.
I'm glad you said that. I was wondering where you were going. I said married, and I was going through the box set of Sex. And what? Too much information there.
Well,
okay, gotcha now.
We can watch it together, And I said we was talking about that the other day. I says. A lot of the characters in there, they get these fellas, and then the first thing they do is to try to change them. And I said, you get that in real life. I said, you get these women, they marry you, and then they want to just change you to do this and change you to do that, and then all of a sudden it's, oh, you're not the man I married.
Yeah. It reminds me of an old Benny Hill routine. Remember one of those where he was sitting there and he was the preacher, and he was talking about marriage, the sanctimony of marriage, and he's up there and going away in the pulpit, and one of the lines I remember from it was like, so gentlemen, whenever you're in the church, think of the aisle, think of the altar, and think of the hymn, because that's what she'll be thinking. Aisle, altar, hymn.
Yes.
I had that discussion with my wife the other day. She said something about, I think we were going somewhere and I hadn't shaved in like 2 days because I've been off work.
Yeah.
I hadn't shaved in 2 days, and she's like, why didn't you shave? And I said, well, I didn't go to work. She said, so I'm not worth shaving for? I said, it's not that. I said, I just was taking a break from it. I said, you used to love me scruffy. I said, that was one of the things, I got in trouble with my boss when I was working at the pharmacy, because it was like, you wanted me with like a 3-day growth of stubble on my face all the time because you liked the way it looked. And she said, yeah, but that was before we were married. Like, Or she said, we weren't married then. Yeah, but we weren't married then. Whatever.
But as long as you don't get wrapped up in that wanting, the viewers and chasing them and everything, then they'll either come or they won't, but at least it will be genuine and, it will be lasting.
Yeah. and I've always, God, for the last 2 years, made perfectly clear that that's why I do this. I enjoy the hell out of it. It's a fun hobby to me to sit and try and put, edit films, edit the little mini movies that I make.
Yes.
And play around with them and that sort of stuff. It's a lot of fun for me to do that. And I enjoy having a record that I can go back and look at and going, oh yeah, remember when that was going on, that sort of thing. And if other people enjoy it, that's gravy on the cake.